everybody, if you ask me, the person that was supposed to be on the light and the under the lights and in front of the cameras, giving interviews, having conversations with the media, having conversations with the press. If you ask me, in my opinion, it should be him. In my opinion, due to it was a lot of conversation about his name in the very beginning of this case, instead of hiding, you should have came out. Because again, you don't have nothing to hide, right? And please, after I say this, because I said this about the friends, and they all came out right after I said something. So obviously, someone is watching. So don't tell me that now after I said this, you're gonna give the interview, or you already gave it, and it's about to come out now that I said something. Shit different. But if you ask me in my opinion, Jackety Jack, when everybody was talking about you did it, and Olivia Goncalves was defending you, and Kaylee's family was defending you, guess what? Why you didn't defend yourself? If you was never a suspect, how come that you had an alibi? How come that you have to give an alibi to the cops if you was never a suspect? If you was never a suspect, how come that everyone got clear but you? And with you, is not case closed. Not yet. Mm-mm-mm-mm. No, no, no. Because you see, something that is called preservation of evidence is something that is called preservation of evidence. And if at some point, a combination between, prosecutional misconduct, and then, something came out that for some reason your DNA was attached to the DNA of the house, then you have to explain how that DNA got there, won't you? It's different. I wonder about Murphy. I wonder how can the cop say on his report that he found Murphy sitting like a good boy inside of Kaylee's room with a door open. In the same way, some way, somehow they say that Santa's door was closed, but then end up being open. So what about if some way, somehow the cop said that the door was open, but it was closed? Because for what we heard and for what is being making a lot of sense, right? It seems like I believe that Kaylee and Maddie were in Maddie's room with Murphy. Yeah, yeah. By the time, by the time the killers, because it's two different male DNA, is not one, is two male DNA not just in the victim's nails, but also, what is called skin cells on the nails of Maddie, blood. The only one to talk about the blood on the handrail, right? But if it's blood on the handrail, don't you think that same blood that it was found on the handrail will be found somewhere else? But they only talking about the handrail. They're only talking about the DNA found in Maddie's fingernails. They try to say that is her boyfriend Jake, and that's why the prosecution, they ain't even worry about it. And court paperwork says very clear that Jake and Jack were excluded. Jake and Jack were excluded from the DNA process. That's why became inconclusive, because you end up finding out you did test that DNA. You did test it. Listen, if you ran that DNA enough to know that it was male DNA, in the same way you knew that it was male DNA, if y'all say what y'all say, that Jack and Jake give DNA samples, if it's truth, that Jack and Jake gave DNA sample, which for what I heard, I could be wrong, is a fucking lie. Because if Jack and Jake would have got tested and compared against that DNA in the house, and it would have been bingo, ding, 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 ding. What the fuck what the University of Idaho would have done? How the fuck anyone gonna explain this shit? And ain't that why they got excluded? Did you knew who it was? Because again, the wording on the report said that they offer DNA samples, but offering and giving it is two different things. They could offer DNA samples, but they could hide behind a lawyer and be like, what proof you have, like, for us to even give you any type of DNA for this? Like, what proof besides what you talking about you have against my client? Because obviously you don't have nothing against my client, because if you had anything on my client, you wouldn't be asking me for a DNA sample, you deado. A DNA sample be, you know what, if you ask me, a DNA sample will be at last when they already arrest you. That's where a DNA sample should come all through. You should have stuff, evidence, for you to go and arrest someone, and the DNA part of things should be at last to confirm the information that you already got. Not just walk backwards and, oh no, let's get DNA first, way before we get anything else. And why you don't do anything else? Why? Because, well, I got the DNA match. Why the fuck I gotta do anything else? So then, as long as you have the DNA match, it don't matter if you got to that DNA match illegally. That don't matter no more. Because then now the final product is what it matters. It doesn't matter how you got to the final product, how you got to that DNA that you were supposed to have after the arrest to confirm things. People don't want